Beta testers, the thigh jiggle. Made my pants tight and my willy wiggle. Emma Frost, crusty, West nervous, brown dust, pelvic thrust for fan service, musty best swerve, this busty chest curve is making me shoot diamonds, yes I deserve this, she'll huff the glue like a lead paint liquor, need a woke exorcism, call the vicar, Sony read emotion, Bungie want a safe space, do any men work here or is it only mistakes, remove the voice chat, girl boss cancel, cremate your politics, Gretel and Hansel, do not redeem, define woke to an Indian, squat, produce brown and call it an opinion, psych, it's deleted, just got budgeted, Bungie defeated, nobody skeeted. Let's solve a mystery, why they love shoes, sweet baby toes blistery, this hoe hate who, Sony crank a price hike, micro no contest, hetero, halo too hard to digest, me oh my design, wonton dim sum, DEI decline, obliterate your income, Nintendo succeed in they mission, yo comprendo, profit no division, looking like if pronouns designed Cortana, you hoping we buy it but I said nobody wanna, 4chan hack reveals government, Janny's global homo couldn't turn you into Hello beta testers. Like and subscribe if you want more of me. Help offset YouTube unsubscribing and not notifying most of you. Woke Bungie artists specializing exclusively in DEI design think they can get people to consume their trash without an already sunk cost, fooling losers into throwing good money after bad. But maybe, just maybe, there's a reason that Call of Duty never starts off looking as ignorant and silly with the nonsense crossover collaboration skins. It's because they are hoping to hook people they know to bait and switch, the same way that most of these new modern games know to keep the homosexuality hidden until after the game is out. Put simply, if Lara Croft started looking the way that they try to dude her up with the masculine bullcrap today, like Joanna Dark, she wouldn't have survived as an IP. If you marketed Overwatch with whatever this thing is instead of Widowmakers, you wouldn't have captivated as many. Big titty bartender makes more money. It's a simple concept, I hope. One of these sells more than the other. Stellar Blade qualifies for JND figures that cost upwards of $3,000 because there's a market for it. CEO billionaire Kim gave bonuses to his entire studio at Shift Up, while the West struggles under the weight of record-breaking layoffs because they're busy pissing off fans they should be making, but instead everything they do costs them. People like Stellar Blade, people will remember it, people feel catered to and satisfied in numbers enough to justify future endeavors instead of closure. One of my biggest inspirations for wanting to speak up in the gaming space was transgender editor-in-chief Stacey Henley of the publication The Gamer, who is explosively biased and desperate to push pronoun and queer-centric agendas in video games. Their spam reporting and reviews hope to sabotage anything that's successful and not gay or queer enough. Q Schedule 1 coming under fire because, it doesn't tick those boxes. And it's popular enough, it's fun, so, oh man, that triggers as well. A month after launch, the thing has over 300,000 routinely, and this has made these Karens just lose their damn mind. And Karens have existed in the gaming space for as long as I could remember. The thing is, they used to be born women, though, and they used to be bored after having kids enough to consider Marge Simpsoning a useful way to spend their remaining time. But times change, and even Disney's Marge is telling people to kiss her ass. She's not the fuddy-duddy that these loser games journalists are. But these are the same people GTA used all those years ago to promote their game because they knew what these clowns moan about must be what we would cheer for. And here comes Sweet Baby Inc. to terrify them into understanding that if we don't think it's racist, that somebody will and they'll take you down. If you just pay them, then they can stop that from happening. I'm vocal because I know the negative impact these entities are having, and the pendulum isn't just swinging back, it's cleaving the air at such a breakneck speed that it'll break off in the other direction, and a gate is already being formed to block anyone trying to fix the pendulum because of how insufferably obnoxious this stale art-hating era has been. I don't expect the eradication of propaganda. I expect for whomever owns whatever we're consuming to hire someone that can be a bit more subtle. I'd imagine you can easily afford it and afford talent enough for the project to be good enough to offset some of the cancer. I spoke briefly on No Mercy recently on stream, and for those unaware, it's a Steam game that was taken down for saucy struggle snuggle material, but a newer Rayplay game by another name is looking exactly for this attention. Whatever journos remain will treat it like a gotcha to imply anyone with the problem must be pro-dominant big dick Kyle energy, the same way that they're trying to imply people disagreeing with them must make them anti-woke chud gamers, the people manning the gas in the echo chambers you're running to only to come right back. If we're so bad, then how are you coming back from them chambers? Just like with Concord, marathon defenders are going to try to put words in your mouth to speak for why you didn't want to play. So I urge you, beta tester, be vocal. Whether it's the extraction shooter, the ugly aesthetics, the slower than Apex gameplay, the premium price and battle pass of it all. Again, paradoxically ugly character designs in the game, but you're supposed to buy some shit for that. Or maybe it's just Bungie and the Latinx forcing right side of history developers that think they know better than you. And I do encourage you to go back to this tweet that I recently retweeted, because I think that seeing how they handled the hidden, filtered, and disregarded messages from people who absolutely do not resonate and are in fact offended by this shit will give you insight into the future. You've seen me banned by Insomniac Games for calling attention to similar nonsense, but I'm sure it'll all just go away. And I'm sure some of those sensitivity consultants won't fail upward, like the professor, like Danny Launders working at Cliffhanger. If 4chan has been compromised and people are to flood to other places online, I think you should get into the habit of making your voice heard. An Elder Scrolls Oblivion remaster is coming, and I'm only touching that if one of you buys it for me. Right now, my expectation is that it's going to come chock full of the Starfield brand DEI downgrades that seem to affect exclusively the women in only Western games for a modern audience. So, more visual examples to serve as a what not to do guide for the developers brave enough to listen and to piss off the kinds of losers writing anti-art Marxist nonsense like, you know, Kotaku, Polygon, PC Gamer, IGN, the usual suspects. Hypocritically angry women are shapely and attractive, but overjoyed when men are given bigger butts. I would wager, having been born men, maybe they're cheering because they feel represented and seen, and we know that's very important to the Alana types that are mad if there's not even a woman presenter on stage. She should be black, she should be in a wheelchair, she should have vitiligo, you know what I'm saying? What I've covered and painstakingly made apparent in ways that you can share, a point conveyed at a glance in images as it pertains to the pronoun-driven deliberate downgrades of digital women and by extension sensitivity injections from tutu-wearing dyed-hair clowns that have situated gaming into a space where they expect you to tolerate no proximity chat, expect you to tolerate ugly, bland, boring, stale, incomplete trash. I have a problem with Donkey Kong's design, but I have no doubt Donkey Kong the game will run well when it's released. That's why, in my opinion, Nintendo gets away with it. Swap out Nintendo for Pokemon. You think there's something we're doing to stop them motherfuckers from buying that? I do not condone it. And I believe you should make your voices heard if you disagree with it, sure. But on release, I expect those things to work. I expect it to not compromise the experience. I expect it to be fun. I don't expect agenda bringing everything to a grinding, screeching halt. That's why those pussies were screaming at GDC. They knew the writing was on the wall, the writing they'd ignored up until this point because they were hoping to rewrite all culture's language so that that writing wasn't something that anybody could read. Literacy got me fucked up, I guess. I won't be paying for things. But what does that change when others will? What the industry needs is competition. Palworld made the next Pokemon better, but there's a chance that without Palworld, a much worse Pokemon would have sold just as well. And it's because the DEI hasn't been so aggressive that it compromises the dish. Dune Awakening is delayed. Oh no. Marathon's backlash online is so loud that it's provoked a number of loudmouth morons I perceive no different from the "I don't understand the hate for Saints Row" flock of defenders to chime in to speak up. Potential Concord developers are coming out of the woodwork to talk about what hard work development is, as if it is a metric engaging whether or not a product is to the satisfaction of the consumer or not. The gamer wants a good game, not to know whether or not what you gauge as hard work was invested. Which they'd know if they realized how polarizing and divisive all of the injections of identity politics into the freaking escape entertainment was. But they don't know anything. They're assuming that cinematics and vignettes and the removal of features that your competition has will help your game sell. Wrong. Exactly what the nitwit that hated gamers as much as Compulsion Games hires said when Volition still existed. She classed gamers as terrorists because how dare they take issue with a buggy, broken, unfinished release that they can prove when, as far as she's concerned, with respect to her pronouns, everybody worked really hard. I've seen mothers choke the life out of their offspring, garnering less disdain than gamers like Kyle telling the truth online, because I'm not so sure how all of the stupid was something that you thought you'd have the luxury of using as a weapon against others forever. I'd like to read you my response to somebody saying, like, what is this? The game ain't even in alpha yet. Crying emoji. Definitely smart for shows to call attention to with it being pretty close to launch. I respond saying, it's called an impression. It's a fantastic indicator of people's level of interest. Premium priced extraction shooter with DEI design reminiscent of Concord is not appealing. Concord had a beta. No one played that either. People are free to choose. Glaze on though. The negative sentiment surrounding the game is in fact so loud that genuinely toxic in their exclusive positivity shills are forced to recognize it. Must suck, huh? Did you defend Saints Row, Sushi Squad, Dustborn, Concord, or were people allowed to look and say no? What if all this fruity-ass, willful ignorance you jizz-licking pretenders coach yourself in guarantees more layoffs with undeserved smoke blown up people's ass? In the future, Asian devs will course correct with actual feedback from honest players, but woke devs are always right. But look at me. I'm taking the time to explain to a tourist who would lie and strawman even if they knew exactly why the marathon that isn't marathon ain't mathing, to coin corny terms that you might understand. Ever have someone ask you something they could quickly Google? Hell, they could hold a button on their phone and verbally ask it. Well, now AI can concisely summarize people's issues, but you have this group of "what's going on" normies banging their drool-soaked helmet on their keyboards to ask questions even your biggest critics might assess you intelligent enough to know the actual answer to. Yet, here we are. So I guess the layoffs can continue until people are done pretending, yet gosh, yuck, I can't imagine why this isn't more popular. I don't understand the hate for Saints Row. You didn't need to understand it. Volition is shut down now. And that seems like an isolated incident, and that's why I use the older examples. I don't want you to think that I'm right. I'd rather show you when the time comes. By the way, can you tell me your gender identity? For reasons, we just want to know if you're non-binary. Non-binary is really important these days. To the beta testers and sponsors, I love you to death. Jump in the Discord, give the video a like or a comment, and I hope to see you in the next one. Love you.